All right, welcome back. We have another knife. In fact, it's actually two knives plus, I think, a little something, if I recall correctly. But I've been on a tear lately trying to find knives from Brown knives, after learning, that they're based about 30 minutes from my house here in Bellingham, Washington. They're up in Blaine, which is not far away. Let me get this just opened up off screen here real quickly, make sure we're good. Box within a box within a box. This is the third package in this one so far. Let me get into it. Pretty funny. This guy definitely would succeed in the Rube Goldberg project. This one's an exciting one that I've really wanted to get my hands on, and one that I just think is going to be very cool. So, in fact, it's two. So, the reason it is how it is because this guy had two of these made. I'm trying to think of how to explain this. He bought the LHC. So here's the LHC version 2. And then he bought the Cortex. He had Craig Brown custom make it to match, which is super cool. I never seen that before. So here's the LHC, beautiful one, fat carbon scales, brand new, just a really beautiful knife. If you've seen, I had another unboxing for another LHC that is even more extravagant than this one. In fact, it's just pretty crazy. But man, he makes beautiful knives. So I'm just taking a moment to let this one sink in, because the fit and finish and everything, it's really just impressive. And then I've never had a Cortex before, so it's exciting to get my hands on this. I think this is a really cool knife on many levels. First, the flipper's on the top instead of on the back here, which is pretty neat. So you can manipulate it in a few different ways. And sorry, just trying to get accustomed to what it's like here real quickly before I cut my finger off. Wow, I've never felt a lock bar that was so delicate. It's so easy to open up, which, could also have some drawbacks, I suppose. But wow, look at that drop shuttiness. Again, fat carbon, just beautiful, beautiful finish here. Mix of materials, the anodized, the back spacer. It's just really cool. And the flipper is phenomenal. It feels great. Way better than any flipper I can remember feeling. I've never felt one like this before. You can reverse flick this thing. Do it Spidey style, super easily. And I imagine you can, thumb it out too, although the way it's shaped does not make it super easy. And if you've watched some of my videos, I don't have very flexible hands. And so I'm probably not going to be able to, there we go, I did get it out, but that would not be my method of choice with this knife at all. It's an amazing, amazing grind on there. See if I can show it to you. You can see it's like a near mirror polish on the blade. And then he usually puts, I don't know if he does it on the Cortex. There's an interesting little imprint inside there. That's super cool. I guess that's the brain, the cerebral cortex. That's really neat. And then, as mentioned, he usually puts Blaine, Washington, USA on the inside there. I'm not getting great light right now, but you can kind of see it there. There you go. Blaine, WA, USA. The edge is nasty on this. It is so crazy. I don't know. That is nuts. I gotta give this thing a try with the old paper test here. And this is a pretty tall one, so it's going to be a challenge. If this can get through this one, I'm really impressed. Oh, a little bit, and then it stopped. Yeah, not quite. It feels like it's super slicey, but it's not that crazy of an edge. It's kind of a small edge on there, honestly, which looks really cool because it's not like, it makes the blade look very complete, if you will. But it's not probably not the most functional edge I've ever seen on a knife. Really just a beautiful pair of knives. The Cortex feels like it has a little more, like it's a little rounded on the scale, whereas the LHC is fully flat. So that's kind of interesting difference between the two of them. The LHC looks like it's a bit wider, thicker. And then you've got some really nice texturing here on the pocket clip on the Cortex also. This Cortex is pretty neat. Trying to figure out if this is supposed to operate as a front flipper. Like, it definitely does the rear flipper well. Not sure if it's supposed to be like a functional front flipper or not. See if I can grab it in a way that would make it work. There we go. So I guess you can. You have to really kind of put your finger on the back side, your thumb on the back side of the knife, which I feel like I might drop the knife out of my hand once it gets that far back, again, not being the most flexible. But I mean, the other deployments are so good, it's like, why would you even bother? Lockup's perfect. Let's see how the lockup is on the LHC here. The LHC feels like a little more like, I want to say like robust knife. The Cortex feels a little more delicate. The Cortex feels a little like more ergonomic in hand, I feel like. But the LHC feels a little harder, like the detent's a little harder and stuff. It's kind of interesting. And then you can really see the blade stock thickness on both is quite thick, actually. Like, to put it in perspective, here's a Bug Out Mini. You know, it's definitely a smaller knife, but it's quite a bit thinner on the blade stock thickness. But behind the edge, I mean, he just takes this down rapidly on this grind. And these things are just crazy behind the edge. Like, I want to see if I can kind of show how much metal he's taking out there. God, what an artist. Phenomenal. These are really just amazing knives to have in hand. They're really works of art here. And as similar as they are, they're quite different from one another. So pretty neat to get these. Now there's one little bonus that got thrown in here. Oh, here's the LHC authenticity certificate. I don't know what the story is with the two different pouches. Maybe because he bought the matching one. I don't know. I gotta go look at which one he got first or whatever. I think he got the LHC first and then had the Cortex to match. But maybe they just sent him the knife in a pouch like this. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know what the story is exactly. So boom, certificate over here. And a Demco lover, when I met the seller, I saw he had these awesome carbidized scales made for his Demco. And I was like, gotta get me those too, buddy. And he was generous enough to sell those to me. And I'm super stoked to get those on one of my knives. Unfortunately, I don't have one sitting here, but or the one that it's going on sitting here, but just to kind of lay it on there so you can see what it's going to look like. That's pretty sweet. That is pretty sweet. So glad I was able to snag one of those too. That, I might have to go with the black blade. I don't know. This looks pretty good though. This one right now has the aftermarket G10 on it, and then it has the BGT, I think it's BGT regrind. Can't remember the acronym off the top of my head. RGT, BGM regrind, which he does a pretty amazing job on, giving you a nice hollow grind. That is pretty sweet. So anyways, let's not get up too far off focus here. Let me grab just a little something to clean this off with here. That is really just a beautiful finish on the blade. Sorry for the silence for a bit here. It's just, you know, I got my eyes fixed on this thing, and it is, or both of these rather. But I gotta say the Cortex is really, you know, I have another LHC. The Cortex is really just so light. I've never felt a knife that rolled out so lightly like that before. And it has, it's not strong detent, but it has detent. Man, it just rolls out so lightly. It's enough detent, doesn't like come out really by mistake or anything like that. Man, that's crazy. It's just a pleasure to use it. I can't believe every time I check that it's not loose. It just feels loose. It's so light. Amazing. This one is good too, but this one's different. This one's got like a much stronger detent on it. Much stronger detent. I don't know if, I think the detents on these are actually tunable, if I recall correctly. The way he did it, I think they're tunable. Man, that edge is just insane too. The guy's an artist, I gotta say it again. A magician or an artist or something. Pretty phenomenal. He does most of these in CPM 154. You can get some of them in 20 CV as well. And he's doing, you know, the new FSD in 20 CV as well. But it's really just a special knife and a special, you know, knife maker. And really neat to get your hands on one of them. I'll bring out the other LHC just to kind of compare, because I think it is pretty cool to actually have a couple of them here. So there's the other LHC that I have. So let's put the Cortex on top here. It is quite different. This one has like a Damasteel blade. This thing is insane. This one cost a lot more. This one cost twice as much. This one costs as much as the other two knives combined, basically. God, that's crazy. This knife is just an illusion when you look at it. It's something else. Man, he's just doing crazy stuff with knives, making crazy knives. What's pretty neat, if you're not familiar with this, is these will never be made again, as far as I understand. Maybe he'll do some one-offs here and there, but my understanding is he goes to the next one and that's it. So there are a few hundred of each of these models made, and we can't expect any additional. There's no at least plans for additional knives from there. So you know, it's one of those things where if you want one, you have to get them on the secondary market now, which is both cool and a little bit of a tragedy. The good news is the secondary market on these are not crazy. Like, people are selling them generally for what they bought them for, you know, even like brand new condition. So you can get them, and you don't have to like pay out the year to get them. I think part of that's that, you know, this isn't necessarily like a knife for everyone, whereas the FSD's secondary market right now is insane. And I imagine these might have been like that, you know, before the new thing hit. You know, it's always about the new thing. Not always, but oftentimes about the new thing. The secondary market on these is not bad. I was pleasantly surprised when I started on my journey to find one. That it wasn't. Now the FSD journey has been another thing. I did find an FSD, but I haven't found an FSD mini or a mini FSD yet at a reasonable price. Everyone wants blood for them right now, so I may have to be patient on that one. But wow, pretty freaking cool here. So I think that's about it. Super excited to be able to share these out with the channel, and yeah, let me know if you have questions or thoughts or angles I didn't show or whatever that I can show better. And I'll be glad to be doing more. I'm always going to be glad to talk more about these knives. These are really something else. So with that, I will conclude this one. Please like, subscribe, share it with friends. Definitely trying to drive up to that 1,000 user mark, which I think should be right around the corner here in the new year. We're now 2 months in. What do we start? Mid-October, so 2.5 months in. I think I hit like 650 subscribers this week, and got a lot of hours watched. There's obviously a lot of content out there, but definitely appreciate any additional subscriptions we can get here. So I will see you on the next one. Take care.